What's going on, guys? Sukastatsu here, and welcome to this review for the long-awaited primary mech of the Donbrothers, Deluxe Don Onitaijin. Now, this is probably the first Sentai mech that I've bought in quite some time, because the last one I bought was Shurikenjin from Ninja, and that was like, what, 2015? So yeah, it's been about 7 years, because I haven't been that impressed with the general design of Sentai mechs in recent years. But Onitaijin here is a real standout. Like, the design is just really, really awesome. But Onitaijin is a real standout here. Not only does he have the size, but he's also got articulation, which is something we don't get that often in deluxe releases. Mini-pla, sure. In this line, not so much. So we'll look at the box art first. On the front, you've got a really awesome piece of artwork of Onitaijin right there. Going to the side, image of the figure. Coming to the back, you have all 5 Donbrothers at the top right there. All 5 of the Robotaros separate. And then another shot of Onitaijin. Here's him with his swords. Directions on how to form the head. Other side, another shot of all 5 Robotaros with Onitaijin at the bottom. Coming to the top, you have a shot of all 5 Donbrothers. And on the bottom, just like a torso shot of Onitaijin. And here we have the 5 individual Robotaros out of box. We'll take a look at each one individually in just a second, but I just wanted a shot of all 5 of them. So first up, we've got Don Robotaro. And of course, he's going to be our centerpiece, being the biggest of the bunch. And forgive me because my desk is on a bit of a slant and he can't really stand up straight, so I've kind of got to hold him here. But individually, I think Don Robotaro looks really, really cool, if not just a little disproportionate, because in the show, like, he looks like an actual humanoid in a robotic suit. But I don't know, it's like, I don't know if like the waistline is too short or if like the cot piece is too wide, but something about him just does not fit quite right. But still an overall really cool look. And as far as articulation, he's got pretty much just elbow movement there. I don't believe there's any shoulder rotation. But because of the transformation, I believe he does have a waist swivel. Doesn't look like he does, but I think when you remove this piece, then that's when you get the waist articulation. And also on his faceplate, you got his pair of shades, which can come up and down like that, just to complete that look. Okay, he does have knee articulation, I just found out. Okay. And also forward and back leg movement. But once again, that's probably due to the nature of the transformation, but still an overall cool individual Robotaro. Next up is the Oni sister Robotaro, and this one is actually a bit of a letdown in some aspects. Like, the overall look is pretty cool, but she lacks any kind of leg articulation, though. She's kind of a brick by herself. Her arms do move a bit, but once again, that's pretty much due to the nature of the transformation. But we do have some neat head articulation, though, even if it is just side to side. And then coming to the back, you just have this big foot sticking out, which kind of clashes with the show suit, I think. I haven't had a good look at it like that, but I don't think that looks quite right. But overall, it's just decent. Now we have the Inu Brother Robotaro. This one is miles better than Oni Sisters, for the basic fact that he does have decent head articulation, being on a ball joint, and it's not just side to side. Also, his legs can move back about that far and forward about that far. You want to keep him about in this position just to get that accurate gorilla stance. And then, of course, you have a little bit of arm articulation too. But more of it's going to be factored, of course, into the actual transformation of Don Onitaijin. And also you got a fist swivel and the hand opens. Next up we have Inu Brother Robotaro. This one is pretty on par with your average individual animal Sentai mech because the inside of the legs are hollow, and that's pretty standard fare, so no complaints there. As for articulation, really, his legs really move just from the nature of the transformation, and I just knocked his tail to the side, but yeah, his tail moves too. Which, by the way, he's got a really fat tail. That's not a complaint against him because, of course, that's how it looks in the show, but I just thought I'd mention that. And then there's no head articulation as far as I recall. It's just kind of positioned in between that slot there. And last but not least, we have the Kiji Brother Robotaro. So this one's pretty impressive for what it is. I really like the translucent plastic on the top hit there. It's a really nice touch that I didn't know I needed. Then as for head articulation, pretty decent standard fare for a bird. He can really just move up and down. Wings flap. And I don't believe the tail moves. So with that being said, we can now move into the Daigatai and form Onitaijin. And here we have Onitaijin, and I'm having a really hard time keeping this guy in frame just because of how massive he is. But yeah, this guy is an absolute beast though. And like I said, it's one of the few Sentai mechas that come with articulation. So per the transformation, you have an elbow swivel, hand movement, hand swivel. I believe there's a knee joint. Yeah, you can get all sorts of dynamic poses out of this guy. Almost a full range head movement. But yeah, this guy is loaded with articulation though. So of course, as you've probably guessed, the swords can pop out his back. and come into his hands for proper use. I'll just clip into the pegs there. There we are. Let's try out some poses now, shall we? This one's not terribly dynamic, but I just got him kind of looking to the side with his knees bent and the swords just kind of facing outward. Here I've got the swords in a bit of a cross position. And here's just somewhat of a regular pose. Knees not bent, swords facing outwards, looking straight ahead. So the actual look of this thing is just immaculate. Like, the designers really took their time to make sure they got this right. Like, all 5 of the mechas are incorporated in some kind of way instead of like the last 2 being left off to the side like we've had in recent years. And it's just got a really good color balance as well. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention on the back, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be an Easter egg or a reference, but right here where Don Momotaro's shoulders are, you have what appears to be Kamen Rider Den-O's eyes, or Momotaro's eyes, in the sword form. So that's a neat little reference there. So at the end of the day, Onitaijin here is an awesome, pretty much must buy if you love Donbrothers, because I'm loving it so far. Because I'm pretty sure there's more on the way to come in add-ons for this guy. Because you see on the feet there, you got pegs for your usual robo slippers for more combiners. But by himself, though, he's a really, really nice display piece, and he's just really, really, really massive, too. Like, if I can bring something in here for comparison. So if I bring in Legendary Voltron here, you see he's just a smidge shorter than Voltron, but he's really in that size range, though. And while we're at it, let's bring in the Primal Ultra Zord from Dino Fury. So, Ultra Zord's not quite up there with him, but he is one of the bigger combiners from Dino Fury, so that should really be a testament just to how big Onitaijin is. Yeah, if you've kind of fallen out of collecting Sentai mechs in recent years like I have, this is definitely the time to jump back in. You will not be disappointed with him. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. So as always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to like my Facebook page, Mil Tokusatsu. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. And this is Mil Tokusatsu, signing out.